to talk about business of interior design because we're always talking about that, but it isn't just interior design. And I'm finding new stuff about interior design all the time, like new vendors. What are the new products? I mean, I'm looking at that, and that's exciting stuff. But what about the business part? Because there is a lot of business in interior design. Elizabeth and I were away this weekend at a business conference, Grant Cardone business conference, WealthCon about, becoming wealthy, but wealthy in all aspects of your life. We barely had time to talk because this conference was so full of information. I had to
Yes,
really pay attention. There are times that people are talking, I'm like,
a
I
lot
don't know
of
what they're talking
information
a lot.
about business and creating wealth and investing and all the things.
Yeah, because if you are running a business, you're not, it's not a charity. You're doing it to make money to support your life. I mean, we all want to help our clients and um, we all want to improve their lives with our work. I mean, that's why most of us, I mean, I think most interior designers, I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to create beautiful spaces for experiences for the client. But if you're not making money and if you're not um, working on the business, then you don't have a business and it is not sustainable. I mean, at some point, you just passion for it because you are now funding, you know,
Well,
I'm
there's
funding it.
there's so much more than just the creative aspect of it, right? The interior design, like designing and sourcing and picking everything out. That's the fun part, right? That's what we all love. But there's so many other things behind the scenes that make the business run.
Right.
That's the tough part.
Yeah, that was the tough part. It was great to see Elizabeth and, like, how do we fit that into the business? I mean, there's so much information about running business and, like, I'm sure many of you designers, like myself, I started as a owner operator. Like, I know what I'm doing. I know design, and I got into it because I wanted to do that and just run it myself. I didn't want people telling me what to do. I wanted to be the person telling other people what to do, but, uh, because I was good at it. And I'm sure many of you started because you're really good at design and you started a business. But I can tell you that does not make me a good business person. And I've learned over the past 16 years of having a business and more, and particularly in the last few years, as I've really realized that I need to work on my business, that I need to understand what is. And frankly, my belief is, and I believe that all businesses are the same about 80%. The 20% part is the part of you're selling shoes, you're doing interior design services, you are selling cars or a landscaper. And then the other part is the sales, the marketing, the finances, the people, the knowledge, the education, customer service. Yes, absolutely. Your SOPs, your operations, all those are instrumental to creating a business that is going to survive, that is going to not just survive. I mean, you don't want to be, making $20,000 a year, and you're going to be working your ass off to make $20,000 a year. You want to be, you want to be
Profitable.
profitable. You want to, be able to support the kind of lifestyle that you dreamed about having and that you're creating for your life for your clients.
Hmm.
So I'm still making mistakes. While I was away, I discovered a mistake and it was just simple, and it really made me angry because it was a simple mistake that in my busyness of trying to do everything, which of course happens to everybody, I made a mistake. And what does it cost me? Because I can't go back to the client and say, well, I made a mistake on this. That's what they're paying you for. And I made a mistake. I'm like, oh my God, I was so annoyed. So now I have to like go back and I'm covering it, which means that this section of the project is not profitable. And I'm putting more time into it. one of the things Grant says is that when there's a problem in your business or when, there are mistakes, it's always about who,
Mhm.
right? Clear. It was me. Can't blame anybody else. I take full responsibility. Not that I like it, but I can't blame anybody else. But the who is also right. So, but the who that ties to what, like why did that happen? And it was because my SOPs are not full and abundant. Like I've been working on an SOP is standard operating procedures.
Procedures. Yeah.
Right. So I missed out on that. And I've been working on my SOPs. I have 2 new people in my office over the last year and a half, and we need SOPs. And, as a sole operator, it was all in my head, so it seemed, things never got really messed up. Honestly, I think I made less mistakes then than I do now because
'Cause you had it all in your head and you knew all the moving parts. Now
right.
it's you have to
Now
delegate and there's other people involved.
I'm delegating and yet, I'm forgetting stuff and it's like, okay, but if I want to delegate that, A, I have to let other people, my employees know what are they supposed to do so that they
Right.
don't make that mistake. And B, what is the actual procedure that they should be doing? So that I don't make the mistake. So I know because that honestly hasn't happened to me before like that. In fact, a couple of times recently, and I'm like,
How expensive was this mistake?
I don't know, I'm waiting for the estimate to come back.
Like
Yeah.
thousands?
Well, it's not hundreds, but I'm hoping, a couple thousand maximum.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not hundreds. I mean, maybe not 1,000, maybe 1,000. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. But I have to fix it because it's
Yeah.
on me. I'm taking on the project. It's my responsibility. So that's it. I just gotta do it, right? I just gotta do it.
Yep. Just gotta roll with the punches and come up with a solution. That's it.
Yeah. So it's the SOP. What is the order of steps required to get the best outcome in for this particular instance? In interior design, there are so many steps because we're touching every surface and we're doing every little piece and it's not just picking beautiful furniture. It's a
Getting the right
structure.
measurements, having the right materials, knowing all the details. Because if you
Right.
think about what we do, I mean, there is a huge margin for very expensive mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you really got to be buttoned up. You have to have a
And
good process.
right, and it's not just us.
Yes.
We're working with other people, and that's like
Dozens of people.
dozens of people, exactly.
Yes.
So even if you don't have employees, you're still working with dozens of people. And I design the space, and then I start living in that space, and I'm seeing it all the time, and I know exactly what that space is. But then when, it's time for the contractor to come on, I forget that he knows nothing. Like he's got to do all this catch up. The plumber is doing all this catch up. Maybe he does have to know what the finish of the shelves or, what the hardware is. But wouldn't it be nice for him to have a much better understanding of the project? When he comes in, he's like, okay, I see how this is working. Like, yada, yada, just for him to feel like he's also more vested in the project too, invested in the project. And I forgot that we're working on a presentation for this Friday. We're the detailed presentation stage, and I've been living in that room, that kitchen for weeks, and I have to. And somebody's going on site tomorrow to look at something, and I'm like, okay, I have to remember they know nothing.
Yeah.
Like they have a few drawings, but they haven't got this vision. And you know,
Right.
so I'm like, okay, let's write them more sheets. Let's give more information to make sure that nothing gets overlooked.
Yeah.
So SOPs, put it down. I'm like, even if it's a one stupid little step, it seems crazy, but if you want to grow your business, you want to make sure that it is in many ways a lot easier as a single, you know, operator of your business. but you will never grow your business as a single operator. You can only do so much. So, yes, you may say, "Okay, I only wanna make XYZ." There is a limit. Like, you are not gonna be a $5,000,000 company by yourself. You're actually it would be very hard for you to be a $1,000,000 company by yourself. Right, exactly. Right, and capacity, exactly. So, it depends on your goals. And if for me, my goal is to build a business that is more like moves into commercial work and we're growing, we're more employees, more projects, more bringing more beauty into the world. And then at some time, that I'm not operating and I'm part of the business, maybe just visionary. And, I have lots of people to help me create this. And maybe selling it, not just, "Okay, I'm done," and then it's fine, but, like, there's a legacy. So I really am wanting a legacy play. But I don't know you know,
Yeah.
what your goals are, but
Yeah, I mean, everyone has to figure out what they want and what their
exactly.
favorite part of the business is. And I
Yeah,
feel like people, that may change over time. You may have want to do one thing and then pivot in your
yeah,
business. That happens
right,
too, and that's okay.
right,
You know,
right. And it may you've said, Elizabeth, that you wanna concentrate a little bit of time right now on your kids because they are like, you're gonna be an empty nester soon. So you're not, like, pulling back, but you're not looking to grow at this point. You're like, "Okay, how can I
yeah, I
maintain."
just am like pivoting a little bit.
Yeah, and, that's perfectly like, it's good. You should be doing what really helps support the kind of lifestyle, the kind of life that you want. But I can tell you that no matter what you do, it's like what was the number 1 word that we learned this weekend at the conference?
Target.
Target. There it is, yes, the target. We must have heard that 1,000
What's
times.
the target?
What's the target?
Like, what is your ultimate goal? What is the target?
Right. And so whether in Elizabeth's case, she is just looking to pivot, she still has a target,
Yeah,
right? And it's like, okay, just to keep that target, like, what does she have to do? And
exactly.
if you even in the middle of projects and stuff, you need and you decide to take a trip somewhere because, you got a family or
Yeah,
your kids are gonna you're gonna take them off to, you're gonna take them off to where is it? College? Like, and you're not gonna be there? Well, okay, you have these steps in place that are gonna
I
cover you while you're gone.
exactly.
Yeah. And, yeah, target. So always going back to the target,
And
is
it can be a career target, it can be your financial target, personal, like there's so many different aspects of it, but
absolutely.
I think, we get distracted a lot or like pulled in other directions sometimes. It was a good reminder to just no matter what comes up, even if it's like, oh, you get invited somewhere, like, hey, well, that everything you do is taking a time away from something else. So for me, what I learned this year to really focus on is, okay, is that really benefiting the lifestyle that I want right now? Is that helping me get to my target? No matter what it is, whether it's something personal or business wise, because a lot of things really are just distractions that take time away from fulfilling your goals.
That's right.
So yeah, that's something that I think about a lot, especially
Yeah. Oh my goodness. After this weekend, I'm like, okay, what do I have to do for my target? And then every decision you make is geared to, does it get me towards my target or is it taking me away from my target? Really?
exactly. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Because sometimes people do things out of obligation, right? Like, join this networking group, join this, join that. But if you're not really seeing a benefit, or maybe it's not really the type of people that you're trying to attract, like it just may not be the right fit. So you have to be conscious of where you're spending your time and, where
We
you're
appre
advertising or how you're marketing your business, like all
Right.
of these things, like I used to do magazine ads years ago because I came from that industry and I love magazines and, I grew up in that industry. But
Okay.
at this point, I feel like once the world changed and went more digital, you know, I don't really feel like there's an ROI in advertising in magazines. They're beautiful, but,
Right.
so there's always different things to take
Yeah,
into
that's a
consideration.
really good, yeah, that's a
And
really
that
good
goes with
point, Elizabeth.
anything, like social media platforms change all the time. And, you just got to figure out like where your customer is and what's the right place for you. I mean, I've been in networking groups where I was like, oh, no, this is not right. And so, instead of wasting your time and just keep going and going,
Yeah, it goes back to the target, and it's like not getting distracted by the next shiny object, which is often what happens. Because I know I love shiny objects. I love those pretty shiny things. I'm like, look at that. And sometimes you have to chase those because you don't know until you know. You know, like
yeah.
I'm doing Google Ads right now, and I've started with this again, and I've started with this other agency, and I'm like, okay, let's try it. And is it working? Well, it doesn't feel like it. Have another meeting tomorrow. We'll see. But you have to put some time into it. You go in, you put some time, you say, okay, is it working? Is it working? Okay, if
Yeah.
it's not working, then like I want to do Google Ads. Okay, maybe I got to try a different path. I've got to try a different avenue. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't think it's working. So I'm like,
How long have you been doing it?
well, I guess we
Couple
started
months?
there at the March, April. So Grant was going on about Grant Cardone. He's a mentor that Elizabeth and I follow and is in the ecosystem and get a lot of great advice, etc. from. He was saying that he has 600 landing. Now he's a big company. He's like, but he has 600 landing pages, right? And I was thinking about my Google ad person. And they were supposed to give me a landing page, but they're like, no, your website is actually really working really well. And I'm like, okay, we're going to work through that. Like, first day, we're going to do the landing page. And then they said, no, we're going to do the website. I'm like, okay. And then when I heard Grant say he has 600, I'm sure he has more landing pages. And he was going on like, you shouldn't be using your website. You should be using landing pages and yada, yada. You should be two or
Yeah.
three or whatever. And I'm like, okay, why am I using my website? That was the advice from the agency that I hired.
Mm.
But
He has
maybe
been saying that for a couple years about the landing page.
right, but have I been listening? Like,
Yeah.
listen, he says a lot of things, and sometimes I just like, whoa, like I can't.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can take in. So, oh, it's
Yeah.
fine. I can go to these conferences time and time again, and I get the new little nuggets because it's not like he hasn't said them before because I've heard his stories before. But it's like, oh, I'm reminded. Oh yeah, I need to again focus on that. I need
Because
to
I
pay
think
attention.
it's more of like a quicker, like direct connection with the landing page rather
It
than like
is
going through the web.
right. It is, and you're right, and your client isn't distracted, if you get them to the landing page, if you've already
What is the
reeled them
target?
in.
You go right to the landing page and click the link.
Right.
Yes.
So, my this agency was saying, "Well, the website is good." But if it was so good,
Yeah, then it'd
then
be working.
it would be working, and I don't think it's working. And that way, like
Yeah.
I always just used it as like that's my calling card. You want to see my
Mhm.
portfolio, it's there. I
Right.
mean, that's useful
Yeah.
because people want to see what you're doing, what you've done, right? But, like, in terms of, like, the Google Ads, maybe people are getting on there and then they're getting distracted. "What has she done? Oh, is this?" And then, they can't figure out what is the call to action? Like, they lose it because they're busy. They're like, "Oh my god, I've been on this website for, you know, 12 minutes and I need to be working," right? Whereas, like, they just want to come, and why are they coming? They saw the ad, they're like, "Okay, I need more information," so they go and they want to connect and get more information. And then, of course, it should be that they call you or they reach out via email. And then they're saying, call back within you should call back within 5 minutes. and you should have connected with them 3 times within 72 hours because you are not going to and then, of course, there's more follow-up than that. But you're not gonna have like, as an interior design client, we're not, having clients that are spending a couple $1,000. It's not a transaction. This is a relationship. You are going to need many touches. Is this person actually going but if I was looking for an interior designer or actually for anybody that I intend to make a relationship with that I'm going to be working with, like, are they gonna call me back? Are they gonna show up? Like, it's like dating. Will they be on time, you know?
Yes. And
And
I'm
when
always like when I send an email or something to like let's say it's a vendor, like wallpaper installer or this one, who's doing the custom draperies, and I send the email and I don't hear back within like a day or two. I'm always like, "Hey, just want to make sure you got my email." I don't know, that's just me because things fall through the cracks, like you don't know.
right. But I feel like if I like, in terms of vendors, okay, I send an email.
Did you leave the company? Did you go on vacation? Like I need to
Right.
know.
I don't hear back. I call. I'm like, actually, I usually send an email and then I
Yeah.
call the next day saying, "Hey, I sent you this email. Did you get it?" "Oh, no, went into my
Yeah.
junk." 99%. Even with new leads,
Yes.
I do that. I call, I leave a message, and then the very next day, I call, and if they don't pick up, I leave a message. Then I do an email and a text, and then I call again because that's what I do, but with trades, I'll call and I'll say, "Hey, did you get this email?" And then when I've talked to the client, the potential client, I send them an email, and then I call them up to say, "Hey, wanted just to make sure I'm reaching out to make sure that you received the email from our conversation." And half the time, I tell you, half the time, they don't receive that email. So if you're thinking, "Oh,
I
I'll send an
know.
email," because like it happens to me. I don't know what happened, but somewhere they made upgrades on the, email systems, and now it decides, this is
Yeah,
spam, this is
I
junk.
know, it's so frustrating.
Whereas before everything came in, which was sort of frustrating, but at least I would go down and, like, cancel it, okay. And occasionally I would find those emails stuck in like, the good stuff stuck in the junk. Now, it doesn't even appear, like, it just decides, "Oh, no, this is junk," but it's not,
I know.
and I'm like, "Where's this person?" And if they don't have your email address, they can't find you.
Yeah.
If it's a potential client, they don't know, like, what is that email address, so they're not finding you. So I call, and then I follow up the next day with another call after I've sent them an email. That's like so I've done 3 so if they call me, then I reach out with a call, and I talk to them. That's 1 touch. I follow that up with an email. That's 2 touch. I followed up with another call the next day to make sure that's 3 touches and a text. If I leave a message, then I will leave a text. That's 4 touches. And apparently, the stats are that you were like it's the follow-up that where the percentage of closing and creating a relationship,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
percentage raises with more. Like you need 8 or more, especially the bigger ticket items that
Yeah.
interior design.
Me.
Well, you're gonna spend like, look at your
But
project.
it's
Okay, so the project's, $50,000. You're not gonna spend that money on you make one phone call and the other, "Oh, yeah, okay, great. Come in and I'm gonna spend $50,000 with you." It's like saying, "Okay, I'm gonna get married to you." "Oh, yeah, hey, hi. Perfect. You're a guy. Great. Marry you." You're not gonna do that. Right. I mean, we know we're trustworthy. We know we're gonna show up. We know what we offer the client and that we can help them. But how do they know? Like, they're gonna come and it's not even you. Like, it's because they're distracted by other things. And by their past experience, they might have already worked with an interior designer who, like, ghosted them, or they might have called 3 already that didn't follow up with them, and so they're or they had a bad experience with the salespersons in a showroom, and they're like, "Okay, everybody's like that." They just, are gonna send me stuff and then disappear. So you're not battling what they think about you at all. You're battling their personal history, which you can have no idea about. So I never take anything personally. I just keep calling, and If they don't like it, they'll tell me, but nobody ever has ever said, and I do cold calling too from my old list, and I have made a lot of, like, good connections with that too by just cold calling.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, people say, "Hey, I'm so glad you called. Oh, Risha," and a cold call is a call that they are not expecting. So a cold call can be to an old client,
Okay.
and I've cold called old clients, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm so glad you called. I have this other little project I wanna do." Great. I was thinking about you. I just didn't get time to call you. Couldn't find your number, whatever the,
Yeah.
reason is. Like, okay, great. And that's a cold call. Just because you're a client that you've worked with doesn't mean it's not a cold call. They weren't expecting you. No, no. So that's the business. That's the business of interior design. It was a great conference that Elizabeth and I went to. Uh, as an interior designer, you need to be learning about the new stuff on the market, what else there is, but you also, more importantly, you need to know what it is about a business,
How to run an efficient business.
right? If you wanna make money,
Yeah.
if you want to help your people and not feel like you're, like and not feel like you're, it's costing you and you're subsidizing, and that you're creating the life that you want too. You've gotta learn about business, you gotta learn about finances, sales, marketing, operations, leadership, because you're gonna be, leading people, your team, even if you're just a single person, like Elizabeth says, 100 like, every project.
Yeah. You're dealing with different vendors, trades. There's so many different people involved. So you have to know how to manage your time, manage all the trades, stay on top of everything, not let little details slip through the cracks. You got to come up with your own organizational system, whatever works for you. I mean, I still write things down on a legal pad or notebook.
Yeah,
I still
I
do
do.
that. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
keep
know.
things in my phone, obviously, but when I'm in my office, I like to have a notepad with all of my like to-do lists and then scratch them off. Like when I finish something,
Yeah,
just makes me feel good.
right. Yeah,
Like that. To me, that's the best way to stay organized for me.
right. I mean, it's a great system as a sole if you're running your business, and if you maybe just have one person, when you start getting other people, putting it down on a piece of paper is a great thing, but it's gotta be a shared
Yeah.
document so everybody can have access to it.
Yeah.
So, it's a process, and it's a lot. It's a process, it's a lot. Sometimes I say to myself, "Why did I decide to have my own business? Why?" And then there's other times I'm like, "This is why." I mean, there's so
Yeah.
wonderful great things about having your own business.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, but
Especially when the project is done and you get to photograph it, then you're like, oh, it was all worth it.
yeah. And, clients are always saying they're always so appreciative. When you have an appreciative client that is so happy about I was on site the other day and they're like, "Oh, it's looking so awesome," "Oh my god, we didn't even know it was gonna be like this." I mean, the ideas that we brought and are implementing for them have superseded anything that we thought was even
Yeah.
possible, and added value to their real estate too. They're like, "Yeah, and we create a whole new room and without actually building." So
Yeah.
they're thrilled, and, we're thrilled, I'm thrilled.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So we're here every Tuesday, Elizabeth and I, talking design tea, what it takes to build and run and have an interior design business, whether you're a sole proprietor running it yourself or whether you're growing and bringing on a team. We're just talking, Elizabeth and I met through Grant Cardone. We were this weekend at a conference and we talk to each other and help each other. Thank goodness she was there many times. It's always nice to have somebody who understands what you're doing and can help with from their experience. And she's given me so much good advice, which I've
And vice
implemented.
versa. Yes.
Yeah, implement and other times there's that, "Why do I have to do that?" But, it's
Yeah.
always been good. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're here Tuesdays at
4.
4 sometime most of the time, we're right on time.
Yes.
So, uh, join in, and if you miss this and you wanna catch us, head over to Walden Interiors on YouTube, and we, post this, the next day or a couple days after.
Yeah. So we will see everyone next week on our next episode of Design Tea. Have a good
See
week.
ya.